0.3 of a second. That was all that separated Oscar Piastri from Max Verstappen in qualifying for the sprint race at the 2024 United States Grand Prix. At Austin, a circuit that punishes even the smallest imperfection, a gap that's small isn't just a number, it's a statement. In only his second Formula One season, Piastri has shown he's not merely McLaren's number two. He's part of the threat that's beginning to unsettle Red Bull's once untouchable empire. Piastri called his lap a bit messy. Yet it came within a hair of Lando Norris, just 22 thousandths slower and only 3.5 tenths adrift of Verstappen. In modern F1, where fortunes swing on thousandths of a second, that sort of performance demands attention. More importantly, it wasn't luck. From 13th in the opening practice session to 3rd in sprint qualifying, Piastri demonstrated the ability to read the track, adapt his style, and extract every drop of pace from the MCL38, McLaren's symbol of resurgence. For some, that's just statistics, but for those who follow the rhythm of this season, it's a deeper signal. Verstappen still leads the championship, but the aura of invincibility around Red Bull has cracked. McLaren's pressure is real now. Their strength on technical circuits like COTA has made the competitive landscape more complicated. And while Norris and Verstappen duel at the front, Piastri has emerged as the unpredictable variable. Quiet, sharp, and increasingly dangerous. Sky Sports data shows Verstappen securing the sprint pole with a 1 minute 32.833 seconds. Norris, right behind, missed it by just 0.012 seconds. Piastri's 1 minute 33.188 left him 0.355 down. Total Motorsport quoted the Australian admitting his lap wasn't clean, but that the car felt quick. That simple sentence reveals something rare in a Formula One. A sense of composure. At 24, surrounded by two very different kinds of pressure, Verstappen ahead, Norris inside the team, Piastri sounded entirely unfazed. His first practice session was underwhelming. 13th, uncomfortable with the car's setup, struggling over Cota's bumps and fast changes of direction. But after adjustments, Piastri found balance between aggression and control. Austin, with its 5.5-kilometre layout sweeping aces and punishing braking zones, exposes weaknesses quickly. Even Verstappen complained of harsh bumps in practice. So when Piastri vaulted to 3rd in sprint qualifying, it was no fluke. It was adaptability in motion. The contrast with Norris tells an interesting story. Norris was neat, efficient, textbook, fast. Piastri, by comparison, was untidy, but barely slower. The race described it as raw talent shining through imperfection. In a sport measured by precision and margins thinner than a blink, that's significant. It means McLaren has two different kinds of weapons, one built on consistency, the other on instinct. And instinct is what defines Piastri. While many young drivers talk about pressure, Piastri simply says he doesn't feel any. It's the sort of comment that could sound rehearsed, but in his case, it feels genuine. Austin is one of the most demanding circuits on the calendar. Part Suzuka, part Silverstone, part survival test. To perform there with calm confidence is not arrogance, it's understanding. He knows what the car can do, and he knows what he can do inside it. Red Bull came to Austin with a straightforward goal: consolidate their lead, but the cracks showed early. According to Auto Hebdo F1, Verstappen himself admitted that every point now matters. When a triple world champion starts talking like that, it's because the comfort zone is shrinking. McLaren's rise has forced Red Bull to start calculating again, something they haven't needed to do for years. And right in the middle of that shift sits Piastri. Sky Sports reported Sergio Perez qualifying only 7th for the sprint, leaving Verstappen alone to face two orange cars that now combine aerodynamic efficiency with remarkable cornering stability. For once, McLaren holds the strategic advantage: two cars against one. One can apply pressure, the other can wait for the mistake. In a sprint, that can change everything. The race noted that McLaren's Austin upgrades improved the car's performance in mid-speed corners, where downforce stability is key. Piastri took full advantage. In the S's, Where many drivers struggle to maintain throttle balance, telemetry showed him smoother than Norris. Small details like that are often the difference between being quick and being capable of winning. Of course, technical strength means little without the mentality to use it. That's where Piastri stands out. He's not political, not flamboyant, not theatrical, but he's quietly confident. He knows his ceiling, and perhaps more importantly, he knows he hasn't hit it yet. Total Motorsport quoted him saying that even with a scruffy lap, he felt there was more time to find. That isn't arrogance, it's awareness, the mark of a driver who understands the craft. McLaren, meanwhile, finds itself in the middle of a renaissance. For the first time in years, as the race pointed out, they lead the constructors' standings. Austin is a chance to stretch that advantage. While Norris shoulders the pressure of chasing a world title, Piastri's role is strategic. He's McLaren's stabilizer, consistent points, clean weekends, and a wild card when chaos erupts. If the team plays it right, using Piastri to disrupt Verstappen's rhythm early in the sprint, they could set up a decisive weekend. There's irony in that. For years, Red Bull were the ones dictating pace, manipulating the race around their lead car. Now it's McLaren doing the same. Verstappen, the benchmark of dominance, suddenly looks watchful. Piastri, young and relatively unburdened, has freedom on his side. While Verstappen measures risk, Piastri can chase opportunity. In a short race like the sprint at COTA, where Turn 1 chaos can reshape everything in seconds. That difference in mindset can be lethal. And this circuit suits him perfectly. Turn 1, with its steep climb and wide entry, rewards those who brake late and commit early. That's Piastri's trademark. Decisive, but measured. Turn 12, a heavy braking zone before the tight third sector, plays into McLaren's improved rear-end stability. Even if Verstappen leads into the first corner, the pressure won't be far behind. But this isn't just about opportunity. Piastri's performance in Austin is part of a larger story, the evolution of a driver. His rookie season in 2023 hinted at potential. 2024 is turning that potential into a real, persistent threat. He's more composed, more analytical, and crucially, more aware of what he represents. He doesn't need to say much. His laps do the talking. Beneath the spotlight that follows Verstappen and Norris, he's building something sustainable. The New York Times reported that McLaren actually topped early practice, with Piastri briefly fastest before setup changes. That detail may not make headlines, but it matters. It shows the car works, and when a fast car meets a calm driver, the results are rarely ordinary. In Formula One, progress is usually incremental. Piastri's is measured in moments of revelation. The sprint on October 19th offers the first real strike. Starting third, he's perfectly placed to attack Norris or capitalise on any hesitation from Verstappen. Then comes the main event on the 20th, where tyre life, race management and composure under pressure will tell the real story. Verstappen and Norris might be playing the championship game, but Piastri, he's free to disrupt it. Sometimes that freedom is more dangerous than ambition. Verstappen remains the benchmark. But that 0.355 second gap, and the fact that Piastri achieved it with an imperfect lap, says everything about where the balance of power could be heading. Red Bull are still strong, yes, but for the first time in years they have to watch their mirrors with genuine concern. Austin may not yet deliver Piastri's first big win, but it's the kind of weekend that builds one. When the 2024 season is remembered, the numbers will fade, but people will recall the moment a young Australian, in a bright orange McLaren under the Texas sun, showed that every era of dominance has an expiration date. McLaren have 2 stars, but while the world focuses on Norris, it might just be Piastri who's quietly writing the next chapter of Woking's return to glory. If 0.3 is all that separates Verstappen from Piastri today, how long before that gap flips the other way? Are we watching the beginning of a new rivalry, or the end of Red Bull's quiet dominance?